Why do professional songs hook so much? It seems like that modern professional producers do something to their mix that you don't. And in this video, I'm gonna show you 3 ways on how to keep your listener engaged. So let's hop in. So first is automation is king. Instead of adding new elements every 4 or 8 bars, you add something linear. And how can you do that? With automation. In the first example that I wanna give you, I have a simple EQ automation. I have a synthesizer here and it's playing this. And then I have some future reverb on there, which I find sounds very pretty. And after that, I have an EQ automation. Let's look what that does. As you can see, it opens up. We have the verse and then we have the pre-chorus and it goes into the chorus and then it stops. And that basically makes the whole song getting bigger, having more frequency information. And that way the song builds. There's another automation that I want to show you. I have this guitar loop. What I did was a reverb automation. So I start with 100% mix and go all the way down to 0%. And the thought behind that is that first, it's kind of like in the background. The more you go into the pre-chorus, the more it is in your face. It sounds like this. And I want to show you another one that you can do in Serum, for example. Mostly you have some sort of macros here. You can simply go on right. I'm not sure what DAW you are using, but in Studio One it's here. Then you can, well, play with the macros here. Let's try that. And that way you make it way more interactive and way more fun. The second is ear candy. And how you can do that is, for example, either you have some samples that you find on Splice or whatever, or you can also do it in Serum. Now I'm using the Nu Metal Producer pack. I have a couple of plugs that I have here. Then you can simply play them. And on the top left, you have this symbol and you can simply drag it in there. And if you play it, you have your sample. And I already did that with 2 different samples. And I made one riser and one synth step. I put on some EQ, like low cut and a high cut, and some vintage verb. So it's more atmospheric and it sounds like this on its own. And together in context, it sounds like this. And the art behind it is to make it very subtle. And you can use either tonal effects or non-tonal effects, but what I prefer usually are the tonal effects because they tend to blend into the song way, way better than just crashes and that stuff. And the third is the 4-bar rule. You've heard of that probably, but I tend to do it a little bit different. So 4-bar rule is saying that every 4 or 8 bars, you have to put in something new. But what I find is that the more you stack, the more it clutters and the muddier the mix can go. I like incorporating new elements every 4 or 8 bars, but at the same time, I like to then drop back with certain things. So everything has more space and there's enough space for the vocals later on, for example. Let me show you. So we have this element here playing. And it has a lot of high end and high mids, but then the guitar thing comes in. And it takes also some high mids. And I just find it a little bit too much in that frequency area. What I did was I took from this one here some more of the highs away, so that when this comes in, I can check that a little bit more. So when the second thing comes in, the guitar thing, it has a little bit more space and it's just not too much frequencies there, and the vocals later on can really breathe, and it's just not too much for the ear, because the more you have, the more elements you have, the busier everything will get and the harder the mix. And let's see how that sounds. And these things are a little bit nitty gritty, but in my opinion, they're just super important to go into the details and not messing things up. And that is exactly what the pros do. Everything kind of has its purpose and is interacting with each other. For my productions, I really like everything to have its reason to be there. And if there are certain frequencies that I don't want in that specific area, then I cut them out. Even if it's very tiny, little detailed work, and it maybe takes some more time, but I like doing that, and that is why my productions, I feel like, are a little bit more detailed, but I feel better about them. So the main takeaway of this video are dynamics, elements that interact with each other, and sounds that change throughout the time. Because I think that a professional production is never just stacking loops and samples on top of each other. And also this video is a little bit more into the category of being very specific, but I think it is just very important to talk about stuff like this and go more into those details, because I think that YouTube doesn't really cover a lot of that. If you learned something in this video, I would appreciate a thumbs up, a follow, and if there are certain topics that you want to go into a little bit more, I would love for you to write it down in the comments, and maybe I'll make a video out of that. So thanks for watching and happy producing.